Hello my dear students, welcome to Teacher at Home. Today class we are going to learn the 7th chapter for a safer future. Water rain started at dusk and continued till dawn. Clouds rampaged in groups across the sky. The facade of hills and forests darkened. Isolated trees that stood atop Brahmagiri grew monstrous. The wind exploded shattering the clouds. Ice pellets showered like pebbles. The cucumber, pumpkin, and other creepers that had started to bloom were all destroyed. This is the plight of Wayanad. Rain comes as soon as the crops began to grow. Hailstones ruin everything. Winds also wreak havoc. Not even a single plantain will be left. The fertile black water coming from the heart of the forest flow through the fields and compounds before merging into Bawali. P. Valsala Nillu translation. The renowned novelist P. Valsala describes Wayanad in these lines. Cold and misty environment region. Rain along the eastern regions of Kasaragod such as Ellukochi, Rajapuram and Ranipuram, the hilly regions of Kannur such as Iriti, Peravur and Aralam, and places such as Kattapana, Nadungandam and Udumbanchola in Idukki. These places are home to large-scale cultivation of tea and spice crops. Apart from climate, topography, soil, agriculture, plants and animals, man is also part of the environment. We have learned that environment includes all living and non-living elements in the nature. How far has the environment influenced the human life in above places? Provides cool climate, determines the crops that can be cultivated. The tale of the people who cleared the jungles, fought the wild animals and diseases such as malaria, and reaped a golden harvest is really exciting. What activities has man undertaken in his efforts to adapt in this environment? Constructed roads along different terrain. Then hill slopes were terraced for agriculture, built houses in possible areas. Diversities in environment. Is the environment the same all over the earth? Look at the following pictures. How is the human life in the deserts where dusty winds blow continuously? The style of dressing of the people of the Arabian deserts have close relation with the climate of that region. As water is scarce, agriculture is generally poor. Yet the region is densely populated and is quite prosperous as well. This is due to the rich petroleum deposits. Have you heard of places situated below sea level? Our Kutanad is an example of this. Such topography is very rare even in the world. People living amidst the backwaters and other waterlogged areas have reclaimed the land through immense toil. This lifestyle is centered on duck farming, paddy and coconut cultivation. Today, tourism has also become an important activity, the life of the people. Didn't you see the picture of the snow-covered Siberian region? Limited resources and hostile climate are the factors that prevent human habitation here. Yet people live there. These examples might have convinced you that people set their life in accordance with the environment. But overexploitation and unscientific interventions will cause imbalances in nature. Environmental protection, what and why? Man is just one among the numerous organisms on Earth. No other organisms on Earth depends on other organisms so much for its sustenance. The plants and animals in the environment provide us food, clothing, shelter, medicine, fuel, etc. Like air and water, soil is also important for survival. We have already learned about ecosystem and food chain. Man is the last link in the continuous process of evolution in nature. Interventions of man in nature with selfish motives will have adverse effects. Interaction in nature without disturbing its diversity is an important aspect in the conservation of the environment. Conservation of the environment and its diversity is a must for the healthy sustenance of not only man but all life forms as well. Gentle stroke and severe strike. The march of the season is astonishing. Thunder and lightning that convey the rainy season, snowfall at some places, where wind blows continuously from a light breeze to cyclones that destroy everything. Landslide occurs in the hilly terrain during rainy seasons and flood in the lowlands. Natural phenomena turn destructive at times. Natural phenomena that are hazardous to life, property, and environment are known as natural hazards. The name of the few natural phenomena are listed on the board. Identify natural hazards from the list. When natural phenomena turn hazardous, the picture features two places with landslide possibility. In which of these places will be the disaster in the event of a landslide and why? Many a time, natural hazards do not affect humans. They become disasters when they turn out dangerous to mankind. If an iceberg breaks in Antarctica or an earthquake occurs in an uninhabited desert, it will not be considered as a disaster. However, much be severity. But if such a phenomenon occurs in populated value, it will become a disaster. Disasters occurring due to natural causes are termed as natural disasters. Natural disasters in India. In India, several people are either killed or seriously wounded in natural disasters every year. How will be the life of those who got seriously wounded in these natural disasters? The following is a list of the natural disasters that is occurring in India. Cyclone, earthquake, landslide, hailstone, drought, lightning, tsunami, flood, avalanche, and frostbite. Possibilities of natural disasters in Kerala. Don't you remember the physiography of Kerala you learned in the previous classes? Expanse of backwaters bordered by the slanting coconut trees, lush green midland, cool mountain slopes in the east. The scenic beauty of Kerala is world famous. However, at times the beautiful, charming visage of our land turn wild when natural calamities cause extensive damage. Kerala is one of the states prone to natural calamities. Disaster that pour in. Landslides are the most threatening disasters in Kerala. Some places in the eastern hilly regions face the threat of landslides as the monsoon clouds accumulate over Kerala. Occasionally, the mainlands also experience landslides along slopes during this season. It depicts the recent landslide at Pullarampara in Kozhikode district. What information could you gather from this picture? All were in deep sleep. Were woken up by an ear-shattering noise. By then it was all over. Myself and a wall along were left behind. Everything was washed out, dear and near or forever. What you'd read in the experience of a landslide survivor, in fact all the landslides, speak of the sufferings of many such people. National Center for Earth Science Studies has identified the places with slope above 20 degrees Celsius are prone to landslide. The landslide that occurred at Pullumbara in Kozhikode was bigger than the one that occurred at Amburi in Tirunelveli. While 7 people died at Pullurampara, 39 lost their lives at Amburi. Population density in the hilly regions is a factor determining the intensity of the disaster. National Center. That is what you read in the experience of a landslide. What is landslide? During several rains, large quantity of water seeps into the soil. There exists pressure on the pores in the soil. Due to the pressure of water, the soil under the loose rocks will move downwards. Due to gravity, the whole part or the area will collapse with great noise. This phenomenon is known as the landslide. Following this, the water that is stored in the soil starts flowing down as streams. Many a time, this flow will last only for a few days. But on some occasion, this may become permanent streams. Many of the streams in hilly terrains are formed in this manner. The valleys formed by the continuous erosion by streams will grow in area in a course of time. Scientific world believes that such formation of stream is a part of landform evolution. Many a time, the unscientific interventions of man are identified as the case occurrence for landslides. This picture features the transformation of place over a period of 50 years. Activities of man such as deforestation and unscientific activities along hill slopes weaken the slopes. What are the unscientific activities along the hilly terrains? Demolishing hillsides for soil, cultivation of crops that need frequent tillage along steep slopes, construction of houses and other buildings along steep slopes. Such activities of man aggravate the chances for landslide. Lack of space is one of the crucial problems that Kerala faces. Besides, more than 30% of the total land area of Kerala consists of slopes also. Hence, it is very essential that land utilization should be scientific. Scientific land use practices. Hillsides may be transformed into terraces in order to reduce the slope. The course of the natural streams in the hilly terrain should not be blocked. Construction activities along steep slopes should be avoided. What you read is about an earthquake and the havoc it caused. There were 40 aftershocks within the 24 hours of this incident. By that time, the places within 200-kilometer radius of the city of Kathmandu were severely damaged. The earth scientists identified that the focus of the earthquake, which took the death toll to over 10,000, was 30 kilometers below the melting point of the latitude 28 degree 15 north and longitude 8 degree 7 east. Picture shows the quake shattered in Nepal. You read the description of the Nepal earthquake. Each earthquake speaks of the sufferings of several people. You remember that what you learned about earthquake-prone regions and the reason behind it. The disaster and the intensity of earthquake in India. Identify the state regions that come under very high intensity of earthquake. Disaster zone. How intense is earthquake disaster in Kerala? Identify the state regions with least earthquake disaster intensity. To ensure stability, many died in the Latur earthquake, several were injured. Majority of this happened due to the collapse of building, but in Japan, where earthquakes are frequent, such accidents are comparatively less. They follow quick resistant construction practices for buildings. Shouldn't we concentrate on the strength of the houses instead of their beautification? Earthquake disaster intensity in Kerala. The map shows that Kerala also is free from earthquake disaster. Kerala is considered as a region with moderate earthquake disaster intensity based on the recent increase in the number of disasters associated with the earthquakes. It means that we need to be cautious. The construction of large buildings in seismically active zones should be avoided. Precautions. It is impossible to prevent earthquake, but the severity of the havoc can be reduced by scientific measures. Observe the picture. The heavy damage is due to the fact that building could not withstand the impact of the earthquake. Most people die or get severely injured by the collapsing buildings. Hence, adopt seismic resistant construction. Light roofs are comparatively safe. Flood. A few old documents. Earliest known records of flood that was believed to have occurred in Kerala is that CE 371 flood occurred following the earthquake of CE 1341 along the Kerala coast as well. Greek scholar Pliny has recorded this event in this book, Natural History. Memories of the flood that still remain in the minds of the eldest survival generation in Kerala is that of 99, that is Malayalam era 1099 as per the English calendar see in 1924. The flood hazard. Kerala is home to 44 rivers that originate from the slope of the Sahyadri. They flood for a few days during the rainy season. When a large quantity of water flows into the river during the rainy season, the river will not be able to hold the excess water and it overflows. This is known as flood. Flood occurs in the Himalayan river, especially in the Brahmaputra Valley. This is due to the fact that the catchment areas of this river generally receive heavy rainfall. Flood occurs not only in the valleys but in the hilly terrain as well. The phenomenon of sudden rise in water level following the heavy rain is known as a flash flood. The recent flood in Uttarakhand is an example. This phenomenon occurs in desert also owing to the rare rains. Massive flood occurred in Kerala in 2018 August, caused widespread damage to life and property. Unexpected severe rainfall was the cause of the flood. About 10 districts like Alappuzha, Pathanamthitta, Idukki, Ernakulam, Kottayam were severely affected by the flood. The devastating effect of the flood was controlled by the timely interfering of different wings of defense, voluntary organization, fishermen, etc., under the leadership of the government of Kerala. It was the success of the unity among the Keralites found in distress relief operations to avoid the threat of flood. The following precautions may be adopted in order to avoid the danger of flood. Do not build houses on the river banks. Do not reclaim the paddy fields. They are the natural sinks for rainwater. Construct bunds on the river banks. Disaster management mitigation measures. It is impossible to prevent natural disasters, but we can reduce the impact and bring the people back to normal life through properly planned interventions. Such actions can generally be called disaster mitigation measures. Let us tackle the natural disasters. The flow chart of various steps to be followed is an event of natural disaster. People residing along river banks should move to the higher grounds as fast as they can. Do not step into rivers in torrent. Disconnect electricity if water enters your home. Landslide. Settle down in areas away from steeper slope. Be more cautious during rainy season. Lightning. Disconnect electricity. Sit on wooden plank or wooden cot without touching the ground. If outside, sit with chin on your knee. Move away from isolated areas. Tsunami. Move away from the coast if you notice anything strange happening in the sea or get something warning in this regard. Keep life jacket or inflated tube with you. Earthquake. Move away from the buildings or hoardings that may fall. As there are chances of aftershocks, do not return home until formal directions are received. Open spaces are safe. Do not use lift. Inner corners are the safer areas inside the house. Keep away from windows. Provide immediate medical aid to be injured. Do not believe or spread rumors. Keep only precious items or documents along with you. Drink boiled water only. Keep the necessary medicines with you. There are mainly three stages of disaster mitigation measures. That is, disaster, rescue operation, rehabilitation, preparedness. Role of children in disaster management. What do you help the elders in rescue operations in the event of disaster in your locality? You can take up several activities that would be helpful to the nation and society. A few among them are prepare and circulate pamphlets and exhibit notices in public places explaining the steps to be adopted by the people in emergency situations. Organize orientation programs on scientific land use practices. Let's find out the safe spots. What do you see in a sketch of safe areas prepared by the students in connection with the disaster management activity in a school? We need to ensure our safety in the event of natural hazards such as earthquake, landslide, or otherwise they may turn into disasters. For that, the safe spots of the school have to be identified in advance. Areas away from the building, preferably the middle of the playground, will be the safest. This because of the fact that even if the building collapses, debris might not fall here. Decide the path for ambulances and other rescue vehicles to the school campus. Do not make any modification in the campus obstructing this. The safe spots may be marked clearly for everyone's knowledge. Mock drills to tackle disaster situation may be carried out at intervals. Government mechanism for disaster management. The Kerala State Disaster Management Authority is entrusted with the task for coordinating the disaster mitigation measures in Kerala. Under the authority, the State Emergency Operations Center supervises the disaster mitigation measures in the various districts. It issues warnings of the disaster possibility and measures to be adopted in the event for emergency situations. District Emergency Operations Center is responsible for the disaster management activities of a particular region. Warning to people are issued through the centers. Their mission is to coordinate the actions of the various government departments such as health, law and order, fire force and public works in disaster management activities. Towards safer tomorrow. Man is the last link in the 5.5 crore year long history of events on earth. Fresh air, pure water, wealth of soil and lush greenery are available to us because the organisms that lived before have saved them for us. If we try to grab this solely for ourselves, severe will be the loss. It's our duty to conserve these natural resources not only for us but for the generations to multiply multitude of organisms that are yet to come. So that's all about this chapter. If you are interested, please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Okay, thank you.